Quick video on the explanation of the Chapter 8 assignment. This is what I would like you to work on today. Tomorrow, and then over the course of the next couple weeks, I'll release about 3 videos explaining the Chapter 8 lesson with the accompanied notes and worksheets. But here we go. So you can click. Hopefully you have a copy of this, but if you don't, you can click onto this. Once again, this is found at the bottom of the classwork in Google Classroom. You can click onto it. It's worth 47 big points. Okay, so task 1, you'll be looking on page 273 to ask what a social program is, define it, and then provide and explain 3 examples of social programs. All right. On page 274, it talks about the 5 principles of the Canada Health Act. Please make sure that you explain the 5 principles of the Canada Health Act. Okay. It says read the articles on pages 276, 277. It's going to ask you, what is your position on the issue of healthcare in Canada? Should healthcare be publicly or privately operated in Canada? So meaning, should it continue to be run by the government, or should it be for a profit private system, incentive-based system? Anyways, and so that's a 3-pointer. So pick a side, whether you believe in publicly or privately, or maybe a combination of the two. For the next question, you'll be looking at these 2 political cartoons. Okay. Have a look at them, and then you will briefly explain the perspectives of this cartoon and that cartoon from the US. Okay. Is it pro-public healthcare? Is it pro-private healthcare? Is the cartoonist being somewhat sarcastic or ironic in what they're saying, etc.? All right, task 2 asks you to use the diagram, and you'll find this diagram once again in your textbook, to explain the relationship between taxation and social programs. Okay, to give you a little bit of a hint, all the taxes that the government takes in creates what is known as a tax base. Okay, so all the billions of dollars that come in through taxation becomes the taxation base. And then from that, they create a plan, okay, a plan of action. And part of that plan comes out of their social programs. Okay, so make sure you understand the difference and the relationship, the link between taxes and programs. So in other words, if they have more money coming in, then they have, at least theoretically, more money for programs. Sometimes what governments do is they just spend in a deficit mode in which they spend more than they bring in, but that's a discussion for another day. All right. Define the following terms: income tax, sales tax, GST, tax base, tax evasion, and the underground economy, or the so-called black market. There's a certain difference between the two. Underground economy would be like people working under the table, would be working for cash, whereas the black market is more about buying things that are illegal, that are not for sale. At least, they might be prohibited by the government of Canada. Maybe they're just not available. And so you're going to be usually paying quite a bit more for those. This also is in your textbook. It says circle the top 5 areas of spending for each level of government. Okay, so you'll circle obviously the highest one, which would be the 32% one, and then the next 4. Okay. And then it says excluding the other category. So you'll do that for both Canada and Alberta. And what you're trying to look at here is how our government spends its money. Somewhere in the chapter 8, it talks about as a grade 9 student, or at least it talks about an age. Do you have to pay taxes regardless of your age. You need to find that out. Then you need to define a political party. Okay, a political party. So that definition should be in your textbook. It says, look at the leaders of the main political parties in the Canadian federal politics. Circle the party leaders who are still leaders of their parties and write the names of any new leaders. Well, I'm going to give you a little bit of a hint. I don't think any of these individuals are still the present leaders of their parties. Okay. Obviously, Stéphane Dion is not leader of the Liberal Party right now. You should know who the leader of the Liberal Party is. And then for the other individuals, you're going to have to look them up. Who's the leader of the Bloc Québécois? Who's the leader of the Conservative Party of Canada? Who is the leader of the Green Party? Even though Elizabeth May has still a lot of pull, she is not the leader anymore. And Jack Layton is no longer the leader of the New Democratic Party because he passed away. Okay, so you'll have to make all those changes. Two main political parties in the United States. You should be able to identify that. Democrats and Republicans. You should know what a party platform is and how that's different than a political party itself. So know what a platform is. This question, use the textbook and or resources if necessary. That's not id necessary, it's if. We're not talking Freudian stuff here. To choose a political party platform you agree with most, if that's a conservative platform, is that a liberal platform? Is that a democratic platform? Is that a Green Party platform, etc.? Okay. Place yourself somewhere within this continuum where you kind of see yourself, at least economically. Do you believe in more equality, like a planned economy, government instituted planned economy? Are you more of an individualist, self-reliant, private enterprise, or are you somewhere in the middle? Okay. Once again, as your grade 9 student, can you join a political party? You should be able to find that in your textbook. And then the final question, who is this person? Do you agree with the person being named as the greatest Canadian? Once again, in a later lesson, I'll talk about this individual. Okay. These are the other 9 people as far as the greatest 10 Canadians. Okay. You have, and they're not in particular order, but these are the other 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And so this individual became number 1. So maybe you do a little Google search on who was the greatest Canadian according to the CBC. And like I said, a little bit later in the lesson, I'll tell you about who this person is. All right. I think that's it for this one. So take care.